Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and to another video. I am here with a tag video for you, and it is the quarter mid-crisis book tag, which I saw that Kyla from the Infinite Library was doing. I will leave their video in the box down below, and I'm pretty sure it has the original creator of the book tag in their video. So yeah, I am here to do the quarter crisis book tag, which is basically like the mid-year freak out tag, but it covers the quarter of the year, so from January to March. So I'm going to be talking you through some of my stats for those months, and there are a couple of questions that go with the tag. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get into the video. Okay guys, so the first question is, how many books have you read so far? So currently I have my reading goal set to 100 books for 2024, and so far between the months of January and April, I have read a total so far of 73 books, which is crazy to me. I can't believe I'm nearly at that goal. I never ever expected to get to 100 books this year, but I think it's definitely doable because at the moment I'm currently doing 30 books in 30 days, so that's going on at the moment for April. But my stats, individual month stats for January, and in January I've read a total of 22 books. Sorry, I have my laptop over here so I can check my stats. So 22 books for January, which accumulated a total of 657 pages, which is crazy to me. I can't believe I read that much in January. For February, I read a total of 19 books. I read a total of 19 books, and that accumulated a page count of 7,210 pages, so that's still pretty good. And then for March, I read a total of 15 books, and that accumulated a total of 5,628 pages. So yeah, it's just crazy to me like how much I read in the first half of the year. I think I went really hard at the start of the year, and I'm still going pretty hard for 30 books in 30 days, so I think definitely May I might try and like tone it down a little bit and maybe mood read a little bit more, because it's definitely been quite intense for the first half of the year. But I've really enjoyed reading all the books most of the books that I've read anyway. I have enjoyed. So let's just move on to the next question. Question number 2 is, have you already found a book you think might be a 2024 favourite? If not, what was your favourite book you read that wasn't quite a 5-star? Well, the book that is currently my favourite book of the year, and it was definitely a 5-star, if you haven't already guessed it, it is A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. This is Danielle Jensen's brand new release that came out in 2024. I adored this book. This was fantastic. I'd never read a book from Danielle Jensen before. It's Norse mythology inspired fantasy romance, slow burn, enemies to lovers romance. It was just fantastic. If you haven't picked this up, please go and pick it up. If you are interested in trying a Norse mythology, I think it's definitely a good place to start. I think it's done really well. So in this, we're following our main character, Freya, who is married to this really horrible man who's basically like a god. In this like world, there are people that have been bestowed with powers from the gods. So her husband has god powers, and he can manipulate the oceans and take all the fish out of the sea. And basically Freya's like daily life is just gutting fish. Basically, that's all she does. But she really wants to be a warrior, so she ends up bumping into this guy who runs the Jarl, who are like these warriors in this like village, and she wants to join them, and she ends up getting involved with them, and she has some hidden magic that she didn't want people to find out about, and she ends up getting dragged in with the Jarl and being given a blood oath with the guy who runs the crew, and he asks his son Bjorn to basically protect Freya and to like keep an eye on her and all that sort of stuff. And it's basically a forbidden romance between the two of them, and it was just so good, the tension between them and the ending. I'm just like, Danielle Jensen, I need book 2 immediately. So Miss Jensen, please write this book really soon. I'm only joking. But this was just fantastic. If you have never tried a Danielle Jensen book before, I would 100% recommend this one. It was so good, and this is a stunning fairy edition that I got of this book. It's the most beautiful book I've ever owned in my life. It's just so stunning, and it's like the artwork It's just so stunning, and underneath the dust jacket it looks like this, and it's just so beautiful, and I'm so lucky to own a copy of this amazing book. So this has definitely been my favourite book of the year without question. It was just fantastic and I absolutely adored this book. Question number 3 is any 1-star books or least favourite book of the year? I didn't have any 1 stars. I mean, I had a few 2 stars, but I think probably the most disappointing book for me that I thought I was going to absolutely love was a fantasy romance that I actually buddy read with Kyla, and they also gave this book 2 stars as well. So it wasn't a great first buddy read that we did, but hopefully we can do another buddy read that's a bit more positive. But the book in question is Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. This is a fantasy romance basically about the main character falling in love with a villain that she works for, basically. And I didn't love the writing style, the characters I wasn't too bothered about. I just wanted it to end, basically. So we're basically following our main character Evie, and with her ailing father and younger sister to support, Evie Sage's employment status isn't just important, it's vital. So when a mishap with Renee Dawn's most infamous villain results in a job offer, naturally she says yes. No job is perfect, of course, but even less so when you develop a teeny crush on your terrifying, temperamental, and undeniably hot boss. Don't find evil so attractive, Evie. But just as when she's getting used to severed heads suspended from the ceiling and the odd squish of the errant eyeball beneath her heel, Evie suspects this dungeon has a huge rat, and not just a literal kind, because something rotten has grown in the kingdom of Rennie Dawn, and someone wants to take the villain and his entire nefarious empire out. Now Evie must not only does this drooling over her boss, and also figure out who's sabotaging his work and ensure he makes him pay. After all, a good job is hard to find. And that's pretty much it. I was just like, I didn't really care about Evie. I just found her a bit boring. I didn't like the writing style, the plot. I just wanted it to end, really. There wasn't that much plot, really. And it's meant to be a series, so I'm definitely not going to continue on with this, which is a shame because it's fantasy romance and that's one of my favourite genres. And yeah, it wasn't for me, unfortunately. So that's going to be on hold. Okay guys, so question number 4 is your most read genre so far. At the moment, when I check my call pile, it is my most read genre is still fantasy. I still adore reading fantasy. It's still definitely my favourite genre. But my second most read genre is actually contemporary. So contemporary romances. I've read a lot of contemporary romances so far this year, and I have loved the majority of them that I've read, and I think definitely contemporary romances, I'm definitely trying to find my feet in what I like in contemporary romances, like definitely more adult contemporary romances than YA, to be honest. But overall I've been having a really good time. I'm still trying to find my feet with thrillers and like just trying any genres really, but I think those are the 2 that I've read the most from this year, and I've been having a really great time with all of them. Okay, so question number 5 is a book that surprised you. So I actually couldn't decide on what to use for this prompt, but I've actually got 3 very, very different books, like different genres, that definitely surprised me the most this year. One I've actually just finished this morning and I absolutely adored it. But to start off with, I wanted to mention Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. This is a contemporary romance that was everywhere, like on BookTube, Book Talk, everywhere, and it had been out for a while, and I was always quite terrified of reading it because I heard it had a lot of triggers, and it definitely does have a lot of triggers for domestic abuse within family, bullying, anxiety, a lot of those triggers. But this book just had me in a chokehold. I could not put it down. It is slow burn romance. It's set in Ireland at a college, like school, and we follow the main characters Johnny and Shannon, and like their relationship is just like so beautiful to read. Shannon has got a lot of like family problems going on at home where the domestic abuse is involved, so that's a trigger if anybody is thinking of picking this up. And Johnny, who plays for the school rugby team, he's got a lot of anxiety about his like life, what he wants to do when he leaves school, and he wants to be like the best rugby star, and it's just like he thinks he can't be with Shannon because of obviously he wants to progress with his like rugby career, and like how they meet is so adorable. And it's like Shannon has gone through a lot of bullying in her life, so her mum takes her out of the school that she's in and she gets moved to Tolman College, where 2 of her best friends go there, and she is running across the rugby field, and Johnny ends up hitting her with a rugby ball, and it just goes from there, and it's just so beautiful. It is like the best slow burn romance I've ever read. I've read Keeping 13, which is the second book in this series, which follows Johnny and Shannon, and then when you move on to the next 2 books, it follows different characters. So I'm so excited to continue on with the series. But Binding 13, I would 100% recommend this book. It was just so good, but do be wary of the trigger warnings going in. But this was 5 stars, and I absolutely adored it, and it definitely surprised me about how much I loved it. Like, tissues were definitely needed by the end of this book. It was so good. So please go and pick up Binding 13 if you haven't picked it up already. Another book that I wanted to mention for this prompt is manga manhwa that I read fairly recently, and I gave it 5 stars, and I definitely didn't expect it to love it as much as I did, and I definitely want to continue on with this series. But it is A Business Proposal, which I don't know how you pronounce the author's name, but this is a manhwa, which is a Korean graphic novel, and I just absolutely adored this and gave it 5 stars. It was so cute and sweet, and like, I'm just really intrigued to continue on with this. So in this one, we're following our main character, Harry Shin, and she's getting she doesn't have love in her life. She doesn't believe in love, and one of her co-workers has been asked to go on this blind date with this guy, and she doesn't really want to because her parents have been pestering her to try and find the husband, basically. So she asks Harry Shin to go on the date in her place. So she ends up getting all dolled up, getting a pink wig on and all that sort of stuff, and she goes to dinner with this guy who turns out to be the CEO of her company. And his grandfather's also been pestering him to try and get married and find a wife. So he has decided that whoever is on the blind date with him, he's going to marry them, basically. And she, like, Harshin completely freaks out that it's the CEO of her company, and it's like she tries to butcher the date up because her friend has asked her to get her family off her case. But it definitely goes in a direction that you don't expect, and yeah, I just absolutely love this, and I thought the art style was really cute. I'll try and find a picture. That, for example, it's just really cute. Like, what kind of old-fashioned manga kind of art style, but I really enjoyed this. So I'm really excited to continue on with this manga series, and I have added more volumes onto my wishlist, so hopefully I will get to them soon. But I definitely wanted to mention A Business Proposal for sure. Okay guys, and then the last book that I wanted to mention, which I actually finished just this morning and absolutely adored it and gave it 5 stars, as I was not expecting to love this as much as I did. But this has been out for a long time, and I saw Steph had read it recently and she was raving about it, and I was always intrigued to pick it up, but I didn't think it was going to be for me. But the book is Mina and the Undead by Amy McCaw. This is a YA horror slasher book, and I gave this 5 stars. It was so good. If you love like classic horror 90s movies like Halloween and Scream and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like those kind of vibes, and it was just so good. So it's set in 1995 New Orleans, and we have Mina, who's our main character. She's living with her aunt because her and her sister Libby's mum disappeared like a few years ago, and Libby works in New Orleans, and Mina is currently living with her aunt, who decides that she wants to go travelling. So Mina decides to go and live with Libby, her sister. They are a little bit estranged because obviously Libby went off to go work in New Orleans, so they are a little bit estranged sisters. So Mina ends up getting a part-time job with Libby, who works in this mansion that does like horror recreation, like things where they deck out this mansion in like Halloween movies, so like Scream, Halloween, like those kind of things. And it's like you have actors that are like dressed up and they come out and scare you and all that kind of stuff. And then a body actually ends up Mina finds a body in the mansion, and it just goes from there, and there's vampires in here, and it was just so fun. It was so campy. It wasn't too gory, which I loved. It's definitely giving me the vibes of You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight and Clown in a Cornfield, but better. It was so good. So I would 100% recommend picking this series up if you want like a YA horror slasher, a quick read for like spooky season, and it was just so good. So please go and try this. Amy is an indie author, a self-pubbed author, so please go and show her some support and getting Mina and the Undead. It was so good. Fantastic. 5 stars. It was so good. Okay guys, so our next question is a book that has come out in 2024 that you want to read but haven't yet. I do have a few that came out towards like the end of 2023, coming into 2024, but there is a few books that I do want to try, like The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. I haven't read that one yet. I think that's just come out. The Warm Hand of Ghosts by Catherine Arden. I do want to try and get to that one. I'm trying to think of a fairy loot box that's come in. The Crimson Moth by Kristen Cicerelli, I want to try and get to. A Feather So Black by Lyra Celine came in a fairy loot box that I want to try and get to. I'm trying to think if there's something else. Iron Flame, I haven't read that one yet, which is terrible, but I'm waiting for my fairy loot edition to come so I can do reread of Fourth Wing and read that. Empire of the Damned by J. Kristoff, actually, I haven't read that one yet because I want to do reread of Empire of the Vampire, so that will definitely be happening this year. I'm trying to think what else. What have I got? Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross, I still haven't read that one yet. The Will of the Many by James Islington, I haven't read yet either. Yeah, I think that's it. So I think I do. There are a few releases I still haven't gotten to yet, but I'm trying to gonna make them a priority for this year for sure. Okay guys, so question number 7 is one goal you've made that you are succeeding at. I think a goal that I've made for myself is to really put a lot of work into my booktube channel. I'm starting to grow a little bit more, which is amazing. I'm currently at 233 subscribers, which is crazy to me, and trying to get into a habit of doing like weekly sprints as well. That's been really helping me try and get through my TBR. And like being able to be on with some of my booktube friends as well has been amazing, and I definitely want to try and keep that up for sure. Next up is question number 8, and it's one goal you've made that you need to focus on. I think a goal that I would love to focus on is to try and get more books out of my library, I think, because I have been slacking on that a little bit. So I'm definitely gonna try and be a lot more bit more picky about what books that I'm buying as well, and try and get them from the library if I can, and also to try and do a lot more audiobooks because I'm still trying to find my way with audiobooks. I find that I read a lot more faster physically than listening audibly, and it's like in my work it's like not really the best place to listen to audiobooks because it's like I'm in an office with other people, and it's like I would find that a little bit rude doing that. But I would like to try and be a lot more of an audiobook listener. But at the moment, I'm still a physical reader because I do prefer, but I would like to try and read a lot more on my Kindle as well. I mean, I have been doing it a lot more, but I think I would like to try and keep that up as well and try and read a bit more on my Kindle as well. Okay guys, and our final question for this tag is recommendations for booktubers, bookstagrammers in 2024 that you have enjoyed recently. There's so many people that I would love to recommend, so I will leave a few people that I would love to recommend in the box down below, but I wanted to mention Laura the Book Hermit. I've gotten chatting to them recently, and they are just so lovely, and I would love to have them on sprints a lot more often because we had such a fun time. Donna from Mum's Book Collection. Donna, she's so lovely. Beatrice and Beatrice's Book Nook. Leandra, the TBR Zero. Brittany from Brittany Loves Reading. And obviously I would still recommend Steph Loves. I absolutely adore her. She's the loveliest human being. Gavin from Gavin Reads It All. Becca in the Books. There's a Scottish booktuber that I've found recently, Observing Emma. I've found her channel recently and I love her videos, so I'll link her down below as well. Aoife, Pretty Purple Polka Dots. Brie from Four Paws in a Book. Barb from Barb's Bookland. Demi from Reading with Demi. Yeah, there's so many people, so I'll leave all those people that I've mentioned in the box down below. But yeah, so that is my complete book tag. Okay guys, so that is the book tag done, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you've done this book tag. Let me know if you've done it and what some of your favourite books were this year. Any other booktube recommendations that you would love to share with me. I'm always looking for new people to follow. But yeah, if you like this video, give it a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I will see you all in my next video very soon. Bye!